We want to begin this morning by giving a huge Happy Father's Day to all the virtual members of Columbine United Church. Those of you who are out in the United States, and maybe even a few of you around the world, you are right here with us. Even though you might be distant, you are close to our hearts. And it is great to have you with us today. Let's all give them a huge Columbine welcome. Good to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking for my clicker there. Very good. John was stealing it. All right. Our scripture text this morning is one sentence. It's one verse. And one of the things for me that I love about the Bible is I like to focus in on one verse and extract the meaning sometimes from one verse. So this is it. Joseph, this is from the book of Acts, the 4th chapter, verse 36. Joseph, a Levite from Cyprus, whom the apostles called Barnabas, which means son of encouragement. Read that again. Joseph, a Levite from Cyprus, whom the apostles called Barnabas, which means son of encouragement. That's the Father's Day verse today. May God bless that verse as we seek to apply it to our lives. I love it. One verse. Flight. Father's Day, my Father's Day message for you is flight and how to give flight. And dads, have you ever wanted to fly? How many of you have ever had flying dreams? Yeah, flying dreams are awesome, aren't they? Where you can just kind of, Susan's going, no, they're terrible. I love falling dreams, where you fall and jerk awake. I love those, but in my flying dreams, I just get to open my arms, just get to take off. I always have to watch out for telephone wires. I always have to kind of dodge the telephone wires. But I've often thought, wouldn't it be great if we could teach our kids how to fly? Wouldn't it be great if we could affix wings to our children's backs and teach them how to fly? Well, I thought about it because there's a father in this congregation who's actually done that. I don't know if he's taught his kid to fly, but he gave his kid permission to fly. And that's J.J. Fraser, who's given his son Andrew the ability to fly. Andrew, why don't you step up here for just a second? Andrew, I remember my earliest memories of Andrew is when you were a little teeny boy and you fell asleep on Christmas Eve. That was actually last year. And you fell asleep, you're a little guy, and here you're, how old are you?
32.
You're 32. So I'm going to show them a video clip of what you do. What are we about to see?
Skydiving, flying through the clouds.
But anyway, this is just not skydiving. You're wearing like a Batman suit.
Yeah, it's called a wingsuit or squirrel suit.
A wingsuit, squirrel. How did you get into this?
Well, like most people, I've had flying dreams since I was a kid, and they continue to build and manifest as I grew older. And it was not a matter of if, but when I could afford the sport of skydiving. And that when came when I went to grad school and I had a couple little extra money in student loans to fund the experience.
So we paid for your, we paid for it. It's awesome. So how many jumps have you made?
About 350.
About 350 jumps. Wow, very cool. So I'm going to show the video, and then I want to ask you, first of all, how high are you?
About 12,000 feet above the ground.
Okay, and which person are you in this video?
I'm wearing a yellow wingsuit.
A yellow.
At times filming and at times in the frame.
So sometimes you're filming and sometimes you're in the frame. Okay, great. This is from Andrew Fraser. Here we go. Andrew, that is amazing. Come back up and give Andrew an applause. So, one of the things that grabbed me the first time you shared with me this video is your response to what it felt like for you on that particular jump. What did it feel like for you to be on that jump?
On that particular jump, it's liberating, empowering, everything that you could imagine in the dreams, but also familiar, having done it so many times in my mind.
What's it like to shoot through a cloud?
You feel kind of like Iron Man, I guess. any Marvel comics you can imagine, or any of the films you watch, it's just as good.
So how do you know where you're going to land?
You got pretty good perspective from up above. You can see the landing area, and we usually will get out of the plane about 2 miles away and fly all the way home.
Okay. Yeah. So, again, let's give Andrew a huge round of applause for putting this together and for being here today. Thank you very much. I'm going to talk to your dad real quick. So, Mom, it's Father's Day, so I'm going to go over here. But let me just go. Do you kind of go, or have you just gotten used to it? Let me just go here.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore because he is so happy when he's doing that. I'm proud of him, and I'm at peace.
You're at peace. Bless you. That's amazing, because it was really funny is because I've watched that video now, I don't know, probably about 25 times trying to get it set up for the sermon, and every time I see it, I get a rush of adrenaline. I don't know if I could ever jump out of a plane, but watching you, and it's the unadulterated joy that I feel, the joy. Okay, so Dad, what's it like for you to watch?
It makes me, of course, proud and inspired and also envious, because I've done a couple tandem jumps, but I have not taken the time and the expense to move into training up to being a solo.
You need a student loan.
Oh, yeah! Exactly.
All right, Judge, great. Thank you. When I put my microphone back on, when I saw the video, I thought to myself, Father's Day. Because for me, my vision of what it means to be a dad is to give my kids wings to fly. Wouldn't it be great, the unadulterated joy that Andrew feels when he jumps out of a plane? You can just feel this. He's completely relaxed, completely at peace, completely full of joy at what he's about to do. Wouldn't it be great if we could give our kids that same type of experience? It's not so much maybe jumping out of a plane. What about walking into an office, or going into a job interview, or dealing with one of the great crises of life, or if kids are younger, to take a final, to take a test, to go into school, to get on the bus. All the different challenges of life at all the different stages. How do we fix wings on our kids so that they can indeed fly? See, and I believe, here's my Father's Day message for you, is that dads, we do this when we become encouragers, when we say yes to encouraging. At every single step of the fathering journey, I believe we need to be constantly encouraging our kids, saying yes to encouragement. This sermon series that we've been doing since Easter is about just say yes. I believe that the power of the resurrection moves through our lives, moves through the world, and we get to experience the power of the resurrection when we say yes to life. Now, Sarah Ricks told me a really funny thing. She says, okay, you're going overboard. Because this past week, Sarah said, my kid came up to me and says, what did Pastor Steve say? Just say yes. I want candy. Pastor Steve said, just say yes. And Sarah says, forget Pastor Steve. No, the answer is no. But just say yes. In all different aspects of your life. Be someone who's optimistic. Be someone who's positive. God has this great vision of abundance for our lives. And we experience that dream, that vision. We make it a reality when we say yes. And so today, we're going to teach our kids how to say yes by giving them the gift of encouragement. The scripture passage, that one verse that I chose is Joseph, Acts 4:36. Joseph, a leader in the church, whom they called Barnabas, which means son of encouragement. Now, in other words, this guy was so positive, he was so uplifting. When they were around him, they felt so inspired that they actually changed his name to Son of Encouragement, the son who encouraged us. And this is his icon. This is his icon. And and he kind of looks like he's sucking on a sour pickle right there. And this cannot be what this guy looked like, because an encourager doesn't go. In my mind, this is what an encourager does. You can do it. You're gonna do it. I am so proud of you. You're awesome. You are amazing. I love you so much. I'm going to come around you no matter what happens in your life. See, that's what an encourager does. For me, an encourager is somebody who smiles in the soul of their being. Here's one of the things I love about dogs. Dogs with their head out the window. They just can't help. When you come home, my kids like, "Hi, Dad." If you get that, you're lucky. Dogs are, "You're home! Where have you been? I thought you died. You're home." Dogs smile in the depths of their being. Dads, when it comes to your relationship with your kids, you've got to have that. If you want to put wings on your kids, you have to know what it means to smile in the depths of your being. You need to know what Andrew feels like. You might not ever jump out of a plane, but you have to have that same sense of, Lord, about life. I mean, look at this picture. This is just a picture I pulled off the internet. I like to imagine that this is a father and a daughter on a tandem dive. The daughter, look at the daughter. The daughter thinking that she's the one doing the flying. Lord! She doesn't know anything about it. It's the dad who's attached, who says, "I've jumped a lot of times. I have this thing under control. You're good. I've got it." And because of that sense of connection to her daughter, to his daughter, the kid can go, "Lord." Not to keep on going to the Frasers, but I've known the Frasers for 30 years. I know the relationship they have with their kids. It's this unconditional love that says, "I am with you, I'm around you." And so, these two kids have got this ability to go flying through life. They're attached, but if they're separate, flying through life. How do we get that? For me, it's that desire, that commitment to be a son of encouragement. And you have to think today, are you a son of encouragement? Do you spend your time encouraging your kids? If your kids were to describe you, if we were to bring them up here and interview them, would they say, he's a son of encouragement? Or would they say, no, he's a son of a septic tank? I know it's not Christmas time, but this guy gets it for me. This is one of my favorite songs, and you know how good I am at singing. And how much I love to sing. And so because there's an important message in this song, and so you're going to sing this one with me. You know this. Here we go. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Yeah, you really are. Look at you. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as a bee, Mr. Grinch. You're that banana with a greasy black peel. I need like a feather boa, don't you think? You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The three best words words to describe you are as follows, and I quote, stink, stank, stunk. Yeah, baby, give yourself a round of applause. Now you're going, okay, that was fun, but what does that have to do with Father's Day? Well, stink, stank, stunk. Would your kids describe you that way? Think about your own dad, your own relationship with your father. How would you talk about your dad as being a son of encourager or a stink, stank, stunk? You know, I know Father's Day is not always a happy day for people. You know, that maybe you didn't have the most positive relationship with your dad. And that is why, maybe stink, stank, stunk kind of, well, that's who he was or who he is. And so part of what I think I do know about Father's Day is, on the one hand, we celebrate what it means to be a father. On the other hand, we need to kind of forgive our fathers for being human beings. And then make a commitment not to be stink, stank, stunk, but to be something different. And I really believe it's a choice. Dads, it's a choice. We have to decide how it is that we're going to interact with our kids. I don't know about you. I don't want my kids to go stink, stank, stunk. I want them to think about not dad as being a Grinch, but somebody who's being optimistic. Because, for me, here's your walkway. Here's the image I want you to think about. You're either putting on wings or plucking feathers. Dads, when it comes to your relationships with your kids, you're either putting on wings or you're plucking feathers. And I hate to kind of do the either or, but in my own kind of, 24-year history now of being a dad, this is what I've constantly reminded myself of. I'm either helping them put on wings or I'm plucking feathers from their wings. And that's your walkway. Every time you open your mouth, dads, I want you to think, am I plucking feathers? Or am I putting on wings? So I'm going to deal with, so how do we pluck feathers? What happens there? What pluck feathers? And here's the key. I think that you know that you're plucking a feather anytime you get this. Now, you have a teenager. Tell me this is not the MO for... part of that is teenager life. But when they're 30... you got a problem. And I think that this is but I think, even though adolescents are like this, and it's because this is the MO, that I think it takes even more work putting wings on teenagers, because they always got to get the wings messed up anyways. Unsolicited advice. We always want to give advice to our kids about anything and everything they should be doing. How to take a test, how to study, how to do their homework, how to drive, And it's unsolicited. And when you give unsolicited advice, the kids go, even now, you call your dad, and you're 50 and he's whatever, and he starts giving you advice. It's like, well, when your kids are younger, that's plucking feathers. And dads, you need to know you're not old enough to give advice. You're not old enough to give advice until they're over 40. In other words, until their life has finally crashed, and they come to you, and suddenly you become the smartest guy on the planet. It's when they come to you and ask for advice. And usually, the best advice is to say, well, what do you think? Everybody already knows. Even teenagers know what they should be doing. And part of that is learning how to ask the right questions to guide them. I think plucking feathers is discipline. And I think that, that when we do discipline that doesn't merit the crime, when we discipline because we are exhausted, when we over-discipline our kids because we've had a miserable day, week, month, year at work, and we take out on our spouse or our kids the frustration and the rest of our life, we pluck feathers. And that doesn't mean that when I was raising kids, I used to try to practice this, and there were times when, I'd go into the bathroom, I'd turn on the water, flush the toilet, close the door, and bang my head. How could you be so stupid? You know, the number of times that Frank Livingston and I talked about this, excuse me, I gotta go for a drive. Yeah! Just to get it out. Just to get it out. Because you don't want to get it out on the child. It's, okay, that didn't work out the way you thought it was going to work out, did it? I wonder how you could have done that differently. What is, Susan's over there laughing, so you've been down that path, Susan. I see you laughing over there. And even when you do discipline, because sometimes you have to discipline, you have to give advice. It is plucking feathers. But you have to be mindful that if you're going to pluck a feather, you have to add them. And for every feather you pluck, you have to add 5. And so even though there's discipline, advice, there has to be an extra dose that says, and I love you, and I care about you, and I am with you unconditionally. If you crash, I will come down and land with you. I will walk with you until we get you back up on the ground again. I will never, ever abandon you. I might not finance the crash. Sometimes, dads, the hardest thing is to turn off the money faucet. Let them get a student loan. I love that. I love that. Discipline, advice, encouragement. You know, for me, dads, this really begins with yourself. You can't give to your kids something that you don't feel about yourself. And that's why, dads, you have to make it a commitment to be somebody who is an encourager. Start with yourself. This is one of my favorite lines. Dads, you get to say this on Father's Day. You need to have a strong sense of who you are. And a strong sense of ego does not mean egotistical. It means a strong sense of who you are. Because you know what? Strength and confidence breeds strength and confidence. Egotistical does not breed that. Egotistical brings critique, sharpness. Strength of confidence says you too are strong. You too can be confident. You too can do this. I have overcome, you will overcome. We will overcome together. You have to fill yourself with positive tapes. If you had a dad that gave you negative tapes, then this needs to be a day where you commit yourself to giving yourself positive tapes. I am a good person. I am a good human being. I can thrive. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yesterday's memorial service ranks up for me as one of the hardest memorial services I've ever done. Partly because I knew Christopher since he was a little boy. Made a couple of bad mistakes. And it's like, Christopher, we all make mistakes. I make stupid mistakes. I have made horrendous mistakes. That's why we call it God's grace. Dad, you make mistakes. That's why some of the most important words are, please forgive me. I apologize. What can I do to make amends? For me, those words come out of a strength of character, a strength of confidence, saying, I'm sorry, I apologize. How can I make amends? That comes out of a strength of confidence. Do you have that strength of confidence, Dad? Because you know what? If you can say, please forgive me, especially to your little kid or little kid, you know what? They're like, Dad's a human being. And then it then gives them the permission to do the same. The next thing you have to do, dads, is you have to use your mouth. One of the greatest crimes dads commit is they try to be the strong, silent type. Well, they know that I love them because I model it, because I'm just there. And so, of course they know that I love them. Oh, no. No, they don't. Let's just do a little test. Look around. How many of you have gone through your life never once hearing your dad say, I love you? Put your hand up. Don't be bashful. Put them up. Look at that. Put your hands down. Thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability, because these people would sit and talk. They would tell you the pain of that. You need to sit and talk with your kids about your love, your commitment, your devotion. What does that mean for you, that you're in this relationship with them? In this day and age is even better, because you can use your mouth and you can use your thumbs. I find, texting to be one of the most powerful ways. I love this slide. Hey, I'm text now. Oh, welcome to the texting world. There's a few things, dads, you need to know. Make sure that you never respond to a group email. Make sure you know exactly who you're responding to when you're texting, because crazy things can happen. But, dads, think about it's a Twitter world. 120 characters. That your kids, it's like my kids. When my kids, they see that I'm calling, they won't answer. But if I text, I get an immediate response. And don't complain. Don't complain. It's like, oh, I can't stand the fact that our world is changing, and they refuse to pick up the phone. When I was growing up, it was like, get off the phone and go talk with them. I mean, every generation has its own thing. Dads, do you know how powerful it is to send a text that says, I love you, just out of the blue? Kids get this little message. Oh, Dad just said, I love you. I'm so proud of you. Wow. You're awesome. Remember, you can do it. Before I go to bed at night, I always ask myself 5 questions. 5 questions. 2 of those questions are, what did I do today to be a husband? What did I do today to be a good father, an encouraging father? And if I can't answer these questions, the other 3 questions have to do with my work and my career. Pastor, speaker, writer. But these 2 questions are the most important questions. If I can't answer in the affirmative of these 2 questions, then I haven't done my job. I haven't fulfilled my responsibility. I've kind of let myself down and let God down. And texting, it sounds so stupid. It's like, but this morning, I'm up like way before my kids are. So I said, I wanted to beat them to it. Hey, everybody, happy Father's Day from me to you. I want to catch you before you get it to me. And I sent a group email, or group text to my 3 kids and to my son's fiance. Don't tell them I said that, though, right? And I said, yes, Taylor, it is Father's Day. I said, I am so proud of you. You guys make me so proud to be your dad. Each one of you have amazing gifts, skills, and ability. You are touching and just going to go on. When you think after a while, the kids go, oh, here's Dad's text. Roll their eyes. 24 and 22. Dad texted me. Thank you so much. Is that quick? Is that quick? It's that easy. It's that easy. Even though they might be doing stuff where you're kind of going, I love you, I care about you. I am with you in this. No matter how hard it might be between us, especially if you have had with your kid. You need to come back. It's your responsibility, dads. It's not theirs. It's your responsibility. You're the dad. To assume the responsibility to go to them. Too many dads say they have a phone too. No. You're the dad. It's your responsibility to take the initiative to say, I know it's hard between us right now, but I want you to know that despite how difficult it is, I love you. I am proud of you. I am with you. One of my favorite texts that I send is from me. You can do all things through him who strengthens you, Philippians. Because you see, here's the cool thing. What I believe is that you become the presence of God in the kid's life. Kids learn about God through their dads, through their moms. The parents are the most significant theologians in a kid's life. And when I text over and over to my kids, when I tell them, when I hold them, hug them, every time, it's like, okay, Dad, that's enough. You know, I am showing them God's abiding presence in their life. And every time there's a major trial in their life, they get a phone call, they get a text, they get an email. You can do all things through him who strengthens you. I love you, God loves you. Even send this to my 24-year-old dad. I'm an atheist son. Presently, constantly. God is with you, God is with you, God is with you, God is with you. God is with you, God is with you, God is with you. I am with you, I am with you, I am with you. You can do this. And you know what? Life can be hard. But you know what? When there are wings on their back, and sometimes you have to remind them, you have wings. I know because I put them there. They can get back up and they can fly. On Father's Day, I want you to commit to being a son of encourager. So as of a couple weeks ago, I'm an empty nester. Don't tell me they're coming back. I've already turned Kelsey's bedroom into an office. But you know, for me, people have told me how exciting this is. You know, in all the different stages of life has been exciting for me. This has been so exciting. Watching them fly from the nest. It's like you kind of go, you know, and it's like, wow, they're doing it. They're actually doing it. And the joy that comes from that. Andrew, by the way, people can look at your videos. Do they just go on Vimeo and put in Andrew Fraser and all your different videos come up? Andrew has some of the most beautiful videos. One where he's parachuting off of a hot air balloon that just, talk about joy. When I saw this one video, I said to myself, this is what I'm feeling watching my kids fly from the nest. Andrew Fraser, huge round of applause for your beautiful work. Thank you so much. Let's pray. Loving God, you have sent us into this world to soar, to fly. You have given us this huge responsibility as dads to be the ones who work to put the wings on our kids. So help us first put the wings on ourselves by tapping into your love, into your grace. And then, oh God, help us to think about how we relate to our kids, no matter what age, so that we are putting wings on their back, so that they might fly. Oh God, that is what your Son came to do, to fill us with joy, to teach us about your love so that we might fly in life. And so today, God, on Father's Day, we ask that you fill us with this joy, this love. Help us to fly in our souls so that we might fly in life. Fill us with the Spirit, O God, as we pray together the prayer that your Son taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom,